I'm sure I must have misunderstood you, Professor. Dementors are, after all, under the control of the Ministry of Magic. It's so silly of me, but it sounded for a moment as though you were suggesting that the Ministry had ordered the attack on this boy.
That would be disturbing indeed, Madam Undersecretary, which is why I'm sure the Ministry will be mounting a full-scale inquiry into why the two Dementors were so very far from Azkaban and why they mounted an attack without authorization. Against the dark arts teacher, Professor Dolores Umbridge. And I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing the professor good luck. As usual, our caretaker, Mr. Filch, has asked me to remind you
She was at my hearing. She works for Fudge.
Thank you, Headmaster, for those kind words of welcome. And how lovely to see all your bright, happy faces smiling up at me. I'm sure we're all going to be very good friends.
That's likely.
The Ministry of Magic has always considered the education of young witches and wizards to be of vital importance. Although each headmaster has brought something new to this historic school, progress for the sake of progress must be discouraged. Let us preserve what must be preserved, perfect what can be perfected, and prune practices that ought to be prohibited.
Thank you, Professor Umbridge. That really was most illuminating.
Illuminating?
Now, as I was saying,
a load of waffle.
Foolish Shacklebolt, you will escort Dumbledore to Azkaban to await trial for conspiracy and sedition.
I thought we might hit this little snag. You seem to be laboring under the delusion that I'm going to... What was the phrase? Come quietly. Well, I can tell you this. I have no intention of going to Azkaban.
Enough of this. Take him! You were going to Dumbledore, weren't you?
No.
You've sent for me, Headmistress.
Snape, yes. The time has come for answers, whether he wants to give them to me or not. Have you brought the Veritaserum?
I'm afraid you've used up all my stores interrogating students, the last of it on Miss Chen. Unless you wish to poison him, and I assure you I would have the greatest sympathy if you did. I cannot help you.
He's got pad... As I told you once before, Mr. Potter, naughty children deserve to be punished.
You know, George, I've always felt our futures lay outside the world of academic achievement.
Fred, I've been thinking exactly the same thing.
Must know that! Enough! Enough. See me later, Mr. Potter. My office. Come in. Good evening, Mr. Potter. Sit. You're going to be doing some lines for me today, Mr. Potter. No, not with your quill. Going to be using a rather special one of mine. Now, I want you to write, I must not tell lies.
How many times?
Well, let's say for as long as it takes for the message to sink in.
You haven't given me any ink.
Oh, you won't need any ink. Yes?
Nothing.
That's right. Because you know, deep down, you deserve to be punished. Don't you, Mr. Potter?